So, software development and maintenance processes involve production and use of multitude of documents. Some are vital immediately, while others may become vital for software quality assurance over the life cycle of the system. Special procedures for documentation control are usually called documentation procedures, documentation control procedures, or control of document procedures, are therefore introduced to indicate which documents are indeed expected to be vital at some point and to assure their appropriate preparation and availability. So documents that displays these characteristics and that are treated according to these procedures are called control documents. So one type of control document is the quality records. Its aim is to mainly to provide evidence that the development and maintenance processes were performed in conformity to requirements and that the software quality system is operating fully and effectively. So after completing this chapter, you will be able to explain the objectives of control documents, describe the tasks involved in establishment and maintenance of control documents, and lastly, to discuss the issues covered by documentation control procedures. So, what do you mean by documentation? So, documentation is any communicable material that is used to describe, explain, or instruct regarding some attributes of an object, system, or procedure, such as its part, assembly, installation, maintenance, and use. So, control documents and quality records. So, in this section, we presented a detailed definition of control documents and quality records. So, the objectives of their management, the authority established for this purpose, and the compliance required. So let us first discuss control document and quality record. So control document, it is a document that is currently vital or may become vital for the development and maintenance of software systems as well as for the management of current and future relationship with the customer. So hence its preparation or storage, retrieval and disposal are controlled by documentation procedures. The main objectives for managing control documents are to assure the quality of the document, to assure its technical completeness and compliance with document structure, procedures, and instruction. There is the use of templates, proper signing, etc. And the third one is to assure the future availability of documents that may be required for software system maintenance, further development, or responses to the customer's tentative future complaints. And lastly is to support investigation of software failure causes and to assign responsibility as part of the corrective and other actions. So next is the quality records. So a quality record is a special type of control document. It is a customer targeted document that may be required to demonstrate full compliance with customer required and effective operation of the software quality assurance system throughout the development and maintenance process. So next is the presentation of an overview of the types of documents that may be categorized as control documents. An examination of the document list reveals that a good number of control documents may be classified as quality records. The magnitude of the list and its composition vary between organization and depend on the characteristics of the customers in addition to those of the software packages. So the document types listed in this um, this is the typical control document, so including quality records, the pre-project documents, the annual outreach schedule, the customer documents, the SQA infrastructure documents, the software quality management documents, and lastly the SQA system audit documents. So the documents types listed in the previous slides are produced during the implementation of a variety of SQA processes. So to mention but a few are the contract and negotiation process, the development process, the software change process, the maintenance services, the software quality metrics, and lastly the internal quality audits. So many of the processes listed above are readily recognized as SQA processes, so while many of the control documents listed in previous slides are products of those processes. So as other chapters of the book deal with the specific processes, they need not be discussed here. So here is the documentation control procedures. The SQA tools that regulate the handling of a control document from its creation to its final disposal are called documentation control procedures. So typical components of such procedures are presented. So here are the typical components of documentation control procedures. The, that includes the definition of the list of the document types and updates to be controlled, the the document preparation requirements, the document approval requirements, and lastly the document storage and retrieval requirements, including controlled storage of document versions, revisions, and disposal. So naturally, the documentation control procedures vary among organizations according to the nature of their software products and maintenance services, their customers, their structure and their size, among other characteristics. So in other words, one organization's procedures might be totally inadequate for a different organization. Next is the implementation team. So the use of subcontractors in the development and in some cases, the maintenance of software systems is the source of various documentation control procedures to be applied with subcontractors. So these procedures should assure that the subcontractors' documents, such as the design documents, comply with the contractor's documentation procedures. So communication difficulties as well as negligence often result in subcontractor or partial compliance. So the damages caused by such lapses may become apparent months or even years later. So when a vital document is missing or is discovered to provide inadequate or only partial information, prevention of such situations can be achieved by appropriate contract clauses as well as by continuous follow-up of subcontractor compliance with documentation requirements. Last topic would be not yet. The following sections are dedicated to the components of the documentation control procedures, namely the control documentation list, the control document preparation, the control document approval issues, and lastly, the issues of control document storage and retrieval issues. So last topic will be the 9.3, the control document list. The key to management of controlled documents, including quality records, is the controlled documents types list. So proper construction of the list is based on the establishment of an authority to implement the concept, whether embodied in a person or committee. Specifically, this authority is responsible for so they are responsible for deciding which document type is to be organized or to be categorized as a controlled document and which controlled document types are classified as a quality records. They are also responsible for deciding whether the level of control is adequate for each document type categorized as a control document. Also, to follow up the compliance with the control document type list, so this subject can be incorporated in the internal quality audit plan. They are also responsible for analyzing follow-up findings and initiating the required updates, changes, removals, and addition to the control document type list. So, most control document types are documents created internally by the organization itself. So, nonetheless, a substantial number of the external document types, such as contract documents and minutes of joint committee meetings, also fall in this category. So, that will be all for my part, and thank you for